Welcome back to the Advanced Selling Podcast, the longest running sales training podcast history. I'm Bill Caskey.
Brian Neal here.
We love it that you're here. It's the Monday after Thanksgiving holiday here in the U.S. And I know we're kind of in that phase in between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And we're going to be bringing you some delightful Christmas music. Brian's going to play on his piano.
I could if I want. Yeah, I mean, if I could if I wanted to. Is what I want. That didn't sound right.
Well, technically, you could play on the piano. The question is, could we work the sound and audio up?
Probably could. I should bring my pianos downstairs and here in the studios. I could probably bring it up, couldn't I?
We had a comment on LinkedIn that said that bit you guys did on the microphones was funny, and I can't remember. I can't recall what it was.
I don't remember either. I do remember talking about the mics. I don't remember what we said though.
Yeah,
because it had to do with our need and desire for good audio quality.
Maybe there was a story there somewhere, but anyway.
I don't remember that. So almost Christmas time, almost B. Neal's birthday here.
God,
sneaking up on us, man.
Next week.
Getting up, keep coming, don't they? It's fun.
What, December 9th?
December 11th. December 11th. Yeah. 2 weeks before Christmas, always. So this is a kind of a lead in. Whether we've mentioned things in the past, but this is a triggering emotional. I'm realizing you're going to get a little older to take self-inventory of your personality and deficits you have. And I've noticed that I get triggered when things are wrong that a man should know that I don't know. Does that make sense? So I was away. So a couple like episodes, and I've got to really examine this when we have people that work and help us with our house and stuff like that, because I can't do anything. I'm one of those men that can't do anything that guys are supposed to do. I'm very broad stereotype here, but like fixing things. So we bought a new shower head. Okay, the shower head is a really easy thing to install. Mm-hmm. Most people would say, unscrew the thing, put a little of that like white tape, screw the new one in. Yep. I'm just still not there yet. So I call our guy who helps us with stuff like our.
So did you try it and it didn't?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't even want to try it. Nope. And I'm gone. And so I'm traveling, and then I get a text from my wife that basically says, "Have you talked to Sam? Sam's our guy that helps us out about the shower head." And I just lost it. Like, no, I thought you were going to call him. You can't. I can't. I don't have time for this. Right? It's like, what is wrong with me? What I hear though is I hear, hey, dumbass that can't do anything remotely helpful around the house.
You've gone and called.
This is the easiest project to do in the world. We're going to pay someone $300 to do it. Did you talk to him yet? That's what I hear.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny? Those tapes that we hear in our,
and you've taken it off your task list and you've put it on somebody else's. Are you working through that?
Exactly. Yeah. And now it's back on mine or whatever.
To put your monkey on their back. Yeah.
As they say in the, self-help world, I'm unpacking that as we talk through this.
Oh God.
Because that's not what it was at all. And it's like, I don't know.
Well, I've got a similar story that I will tell next. I'll tell next episode.
Okay.
I want to get into today's topic, but it's a similar story about what a man should be.
There you go. So we're in good company. We're going to turn this into the man show. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Topic
today. As you know, and you've heard us promote it and maybe seen it on the Advanced Selling Podcast LinkedIn group, we're doing a personal business planning session on December 6th, 12 to 2. Bravo. It's for sales professionals, leaders, VPs of sales, and it's going to take a look at how do you build a plan for your biggest goals for next year. And that there are two portions to this. There's one is, what do you want to accomplish? What are your outputs? What kind of income do you want to earn, revenue, whatever? That's the goal. But then the question is, what are the inputs? What are all the things you need to have line up appropriately, behavior, skills, things like that. And so I've got a grid. It's called the planning grid that we're going to introduce. And Brian and I have both been using variations of it for our clients. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to introduce that. So if you want to learn more, just go to advancedsellingpodcast.com. There should be a link there that'll take you right to the sign up. It's $97 tuition. There's a video that goes out in advance, and then you have the 2-hour session. You get a manual, and then there'll probably be a follow-up audio or video of some kind. So we'd love to have you there for that. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to take a dive into one of these 8 areas that make up what you need to be good at. What are your behaviors for next year in order to get to your goals? And the one we're picking is marketing plan, personal marketing plan, personal marketing activities. Most of you don't have a marketing team that generates leads and provides you with opportunities. You might have a business development team that does that, but generally you're responsible for your own marketing. So we decided to go down that path.
I love it. And this is in the input column.
That's
right?
correct.
Yeah, input column on the personal business plan that you all will be working through here in a week or so. By the way, my little plug for joining us for that is, if nothing else, coming to this session forces you to carve out the time to do it. Because so many people don't do this, not because they don't want to, it's because time disappears on them. So join the group and come and do this. It's worth the time to do, I promise. Okay. The idea of the input of personal marketing. Now here is, and I said in our pre-production meeting, I don't know which pre-production meeting I was in. It was so deep.
It was a long one. It was the marathon session.
I said this is timely. Bill, did you see the news that both Google and Yahoo just released about emails?
No.
Starting, I believe, check the date on this, either February 1st or February 24th or February 1st of 24 or something like that. They are going to begin to limit the number of emails sent per day to 5,000, which will essentially kill a lot of the marketing email spam, even executed by sales teams in that moment when they stop allowing that. This to me, and I think this is just the first domino of this. I think they're just going to get going because people are so done with the personal marketing version that's usually done by a marketing team. So I'm giving the salespeople benefit of the doubt. And still, the salespeople are recipients of it. And the salespeople have their own sort of like cold cadence that they use, send the cold email, send the cold email, send the cold email. And they do it in batches and stuff.
That's right.
So I think those days are ending quickly. Gong just came out with some data that supports that it's ending quickly, that mass attempted personalization of marketing is going to be gone. Yeah. So where does that leave us?
Because everybody knows it's fake.
Everybody.
It's like when you call AT&T and the person says, please give us your first name, William Caskey. Oh, thank you. It's like, no, you're not. You're pretending like you're a human. You're not. You're not.
Yes.
Bot.
Thank you, William.
So it's all fake. And so the question then is, given that, I didn't know that.
That's new news.
Yeah. So that's interesting.
New news. So, and where that brings me to the topic is then what? So now these marketing spam spray and pray strategies, that you technically can't do them. What are you left with? You're left with your own personal marketing. So what I'm saying here is this is really critical. I think it's a really timely thing to talk about heading into 2024. So
good. That's great. So
that's my setup.
so the what is, I'm going to do what, why, how here. The what is the marketing plan that you need to have some kind of a marketing plan that you execute. Now you might have virtual people. I know some of you are entrepreneurs. You have virtual assistants. That's fine. But there has to be a marketing plan that you execute. And it sounds like it can't be just a huge mail list, which most of you who are listening you're not emailers, you're not email marketers generally, but you do have people who you've met with, customers, prospects, who you have collected email addresses for. So that should be part of your marketing plan is how am I going to use these names in this list that I have in a respectful way, not in a blast, send them an email every day, but how am I going to use that? So to me, email marketing is one important part of your marketing plan.
Yes. And I think my big pitch here on the personal marketing plan, I think you need to find your way. So everyone wants to do, personalization. That's a big thing. And so what we did is we went, how do we do mass customization? Well, we use like little algorithms and bots and parentheses to do that, right? So it says, hey, Bill, or it says, saw you went to DePaul, go Tigers. That's what it says.
Yeah.
So you think like the person researched it and sent that. They didn't do that. They're using that to scrape off a LinkedIn.
Go last name.
Yeah, and mascot, right? Go search mascot DePaul, Blum equals X, and it's ridiculous. And I get that. You get those. I get those, I'm sure. Yeah. Go Hoosiers, And so I think the trick to this is finding the way to get in rhythm. So what used to be mass out is going to be a little different. It's going to take more effort and energy on the sales teams, which is why you need to develop this plan to give the commitment to the behavior to do it. You have to go personal yourself. You have to be the one to look. A computer can't look for you. Yeah. That's my opinion. And I think if you do that, your marketing plan is going to be more successful because it's going to be obvious that this is no spam bot robot thing.
Correct.
And then I get a genuine answer, and I'm being very authentic with what I'm doing.
So the idea here is that we still need to use email to communicate with our potential clients and clients.
Yes.
We need to personalize them, but when you're talking about personal, I don't think it needs to be find out where the dude went to college I don't think that's the right form of personalization. To me, personalization comes from the tone of the copy. How does the copy sound?
Yeah.
Dear Mr. Neal, it has come to our attention that in the past 17 months you have been, that's traditional marketing copy, almost legal copy. But if it's, hey, Brian, saw you were looking at our site the other day. Awesome. I'm glad you're doing it. Hopefully I can help you. That feels a little bit more personal. Now, you got to be careful that you don't go overboard, but generally email copy is so stiff and it comes from the marketing, people. Yeah. And it never feels like it's really personal.
Right.
So if you're writing emails to prospects or customers that don't feel personal, feel very stiff, then soften them up a little bit. Make them feel like, oh, I know it's a form. People know it's a blast, but at least if it's entertaining and if it feels like it's personal, that'll be helpful.
Absolutely. And just do a little work. This is where I get so irritated sometimes. So, Bill, in your LinkedIn profile, does it say that you played basketball at DePaul by chance? It's okay.
I don't know.
I'm just curious.
I don't.
It doesn't. It's not a test. I
don't think it does.
So either way, I mean, it's like if you look on. So with mine, mine says I ref in the NFL. I mean, it's or I play piano, or there's. It's so easy for you to put something that truly shows that you did a little research. So I get things like, hey, your LinkedIn profile was real intriguing. Do you want to talk about this thing? I'm like, what do you, what you've missed? Intriguing. It's an automatic miss.
It's a catch-all.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And I can still write the body of an email that is the same and put an actual typed personalization sentence or 2 sentences
it's a front.
above it. That's it. And then hit send. So 85% of the thing is the same. And so if you're listening to this and you're doing your personal marketing plan as one of your inputs, strong recommendation that you create the discipline to sit down, whatever the time period is, once a week for 30 minutes, do a little productivity pod and just send out emails to see this, but do it with real personalization.
Yeah.
Not with the frickin' parentheses and the dear.
And you can use AI for this too. You can write the email in your tone of voice that feels personal. Have ChatGPT, or we're using Claude.ai. That's we find a little bit more friendly, personal the way, but have that spit out something you might like. I was on a call the other day with a guy that coaches me, and we used ChatGPT for several, and they just didn't feel right. And on the fourth one we did is like, wow, that was really good. So you might have to work it a little bit. But the point there is you've got tools, free tools, AI tools that will help you write these things.
Yes.
But you're still going to have to bring the tone to a personal tone, because sometimes they don't do that. Okay.
You do.
So number one is part of your marketing plan should be a consideration of email. How is email a part of this? Whether it's communicating with current clients, promoting other products, prospects, booking appointments, make sure email is a part of it.
Yes.
I've got something else here as number two. Do you want to go?
Let me take a turn, can I?
Yeah.
I'm going to say part of your personal marketing strategy needs to be your, a very broad statement, but your LinkedIn action planning. What you're actually going to do on LinkedIn, specifically written down with some numeric daily, weekly, monthly behavior.
Yeah.
Like post 2 videos per month. That's specific. I think that needs to be in there.
I love that. And, I was talking to a client the other day, and they were struggling with getting their LinkedIn things done, videos or articles or whatever.
Yeah.
And I said, you're still seeing this as a task, a task to put on your list. You've got to stop seeing it that way.
Good.
You've got to start seeing it like if you're I say Peter Jennings, he's long gone, but if you're Peter Jennings, and you're
all you millennials,
yeah, right. Okay, who's the current guy on ABC News?
See, nobody knows because they don't watch the news. It's David Muir.
David Muir, that's right. I like him.
Yes.
If you're David Muir and you do the evening news, and let's say you have to show up at ABC at noon to start writing, you don't say, hey, my task for tomorrow is do the evening news.
Right.
You say, that's who I am. That's
I am the evening news.
And so I think we've got to get that way with LinkedIn and social media and social media marketing. It's just who we are. Like this podcast is it's just what we do because we're in the space of wanting to bring value to people. So how do you move it from a task list, which it always gets moved? I mean, I've got clients who have been trying to get the first video out for 6 months.
Oh my God.
And people around them are doing it, but they're just battling this internal lizard brain or resistance or whatever. So try to figure out a way to move it from a task to just, this is just what I do. I post something every day on LinkedIn that happened to me yesterday when I was out in the field talking to prospects, et cetera, out in the field.
Can I give a little tricky habit? By the way, when you do have that you played basketball and you were fight out at DePaul.
Oh, okay.
And so even those two little tidbits. So I was a beta, and that was a Miami Triad thing or whatever.
Miami Triad.
Yeah, see that?
Sigma Chi.
They're all not. Yeah, Sigma Chi beta and fight out, right? All you Greek people. Did you snap? Did you guys click when you're in the fraternity house instead of clapping? I was okay.
Oh, really? No, that was back then.
So I was clicking for you early. We call it click. Yeah. So means when I really like your idea, instead of clapping, I click.
Oh, it's weird.
Boys never grow up, do they? Boys never grow up. No, we don't grow up. Boys never grow up. Okay. Here's my little trick on that. Those people that you're talking about, Bill, that have resistance to doing their first video on LinkedIn, and some of them, it's just even resistance around like going to LinkedIn and interacting with it. Some of them, they'll scroll, but then here's a test for them to ask. Now, this may fail in some cases, but in a lot of cases it won't. Ask them how many times a day they go to either Facebook or Instagram. And if so, how many times do they post on either? Some of them will say none, but many of them will say, oh God, you got me. I'm on Facebook 18 times a day. I'm on Instagram 50 times a day. Do you ever post anything on Instagram? Yeah, actually I do. Post all the time. Okay, so then the rule becomes that those two, whatever social media habit you have already, most people have a social media habit. The problem is it's not LinkedIn. You tether those together. And the rule is you have a little Brian and Bill in your ears with beautiful audio microphones telling you, every time you go to Facebook, the rule is you have to then immediately go to LinkedIn. That's a thing. Then you tether your habits together. Because that's what I'm noticing is people like, LinkedIn, I'm like, how many times are you on Instagram? Oh, TikTok. I'd rather not say. I'm like, that's your problem.
That's your problem.
You've got a habit in the wrong social media for business. Yeah. So that's a little trick.
Yeah. So another thing about LinkedIn, and I know that we tend to harp on LinkedIn, and I have kind of a mostly love, but sometimes a love-hate relationship with it. But I saw a stat the other day, we might have mentioned it a few weeks ago, that only 3% of accounts actually create content on LinkedIn. 3%.
I did not. Oh, I didn't hear that. No.
Yeah, which is to me opens up an entire amazing opportunity for people who are willing to shoot video, write articles, create graphics, whatever those are for you. It's an awesome opportunity. And I would even say that the 3% who do it, most of it's kind of garbagey. I mean, most of it's just, it's not very good. It's not very
right. Not personal. Yeah, no. Not authentic.
So the market is wide open there for you. So and we're going to be talking about a couple other things that you can do at our personal business planning session in terms of marketing. But I wanted to dig into a little bit of that today because I think it's helpful to just get a start on thinking about marketing for next year.
And I would say more than anything else from today's episode, one, come to the business planning session. Number two is if you do your own business planning, make sure you've got a marketing plan as part of it that has commitment to certain behaviors, a certain frequency per day, week, or month. Because most people just don't have that written down anywhere. And then we'll talk about next time on how to do it. But yeah,
that's good. And 30 years ago, we all had behavioral plans that relied on outreach, cold calls, drop-ins, maybe a networking event here and there. And now you've got so many different other opportunities to go one to many. So your behavioral plan might be cold calls. There might be some cold calls in it. That's cool. But don't rely on only that. It's got to have different pillars to it. So,
and certainly don't rely on your mass email strategy, because it's going to be gone. Going to be gone.
All right. See you next time.
Yeah, see you. Bye.
Bye.